I also want to say that I'm very uncomfortable with and I extremely dislike the idea of someone being so in love with our culture and so appreciative of it and participating in it that we extend this invitation for them to be accepted as one of us, as like this idea of like, oh, so and so can come to the cookout. It's like, nah, let's not do that. Let's just say, good job. I'm glad that you like us and like the way we do things. And let's just keep it moving. I don't like that idea of we're going to accept this person into the fold, so to speak. What's good, everybody? Welcome to Hope Views. Thank you for clicking that thumbnail. My name is Corey, and today we're going to be discussing You People, which was released on Netflix January 27th of 2023. I want to start off saying that I'm positive on the film. I want to break the video down this way. I'm going to talk about the movie and the things that I enjoyed. Then we're going to talk about the cultural things and the things that are just kind of things that come along with watching a movie of this nature. So I enjoyed the movie mainly because of Jonah Hill. I like the structure of the movie because it starts off giving you Jonah Hill's life and the way that he doesn't fit in with his family and everything else. Then it goes on to give you Laurie London's life and why she's fed up with her options and the world that she is a part of. And then it gives you their meetup and the way their little romance unfolds. And I really enjoyed the romance part of this movie. It was very sweet and it was really sold to me by Jonah Hill. Now, I don't know how much of this is direction or just Jonah Hill being Jonah Hill, but to me, he conveys this sense of anxious happiness. Like he's clearly very happy to be involved with this woman and moving forward with this woman, but he doesn't want to come across as too eager, and he's very mindful of how much joy he's showing throughout his little performance. And again, I don't know if that's just natural Jonah Hill or if that's direction and them telling him like, hey, be hype but not too hype, and be aware that you don't want to be too hype. It really came across quite well, and it's really very believable, especially from a person that conveys it as well as Jonah Hill. I enjoyed that performance, and I enjoyed the way that their romance unfolded a whole lot. I thought it was a very sweet, organic little situation. One of the things that I like so much about the movie is that it was very funny to me. I found myself laughing a whole lot and holding in a bunch of laughter because of the way I was watching it, and I wanted to catch all the dialogue. So I really found myself having a good time with it, which is personally why I'm so high on it. It is a romantic comedy. I knew it would be very similar to like Guess Who, with bringing home a person of a different race to meet the family. And I knew that it would hit like that. And it did hit like that, but also you have a lot of awkward comedy from Jonah Hill's family that I didn't see much of in the trailer that I did watch. Talking about Jonah Hill's family, I want to say that David Duchovny just did it for me. Just because his nonchalant, unassuming attitude. It was really cringy. I can imagine for some people to see him do everything that he did, but I really got a kick out of the fact that he seems like incredibly dopey, incredibly unaware, and really innocent in all the nonsense that he did throughout the movie. I liked all his little spots and his obsession with the exhibit. Oddly enough, Eddie Murphy and Nia Long feel like guest stars to me. They do not feel like they were the actual stars of the show. I know Eddie Murphy did get a little more screen time than Nia Long, and he had more lines and more of a presence throughout the film. But it just felt as though he was more of like an afterthought, and this was really the Jonah Hill, Laurie London show with guest spots from a few other people, with Eddie Murphy and Nia Long being a part of those others. Getting toward the end of the film, Jonah Hill has a monologue, and I feel like his monologue is delivered great because of the acting. I don't feel like the dialogue that's delivered in that monologue is super impressive. It's actually something that is interchangeable. You could take Jonah Hill out, you could take Eddie Murphy out, and you could put any other characters in any other film, and this type of thing would still play out in the similar fashion. On the other hand, though, Laurie London's monologue is not as good as far as the acting goes, but to me, the impact of the dialogue is way, way, way more profound and way more unique because of the blackness of her character and the fact that no one can have that perspective except a black woman or a black man in that same situation. So I really enjoyed what she had to say during her monologue. Both monologues came at a very cliche time, like his and then hers right back to back. But at the same time, it did make sense that both of them would reach their breaking points at that point. And I like the delivery on both of them, even though I feel like Jonah Hill's one is just a wee bit better when it comes to the acting side of things. But again, it's Jonah Hill. The man has been doing it for quite some time. Now, as much as I think the movie is good, I will say the ending is dumb. The fact that they do, like, spoilers here, but the impromptu wedding scene that they do towards the end is like, you took me right out of anything that was believable and put me into fairy tale land with that ending. But aside from that, everything else seemed very enjoyable, very believable, and pretty funny throughout the movie. So now for the cultural stuff, there's so many different points that I want to hit. I'm glad that I wrote everything down as it was coming to me and in pre-production. I'm just happy that things kind of panned out the way they panned out. So we're going to talk about one, the fatherhood dating daughter angle of the movie. So I like the movie. I'm positive on the movie, but I do have a problem with the idea that, oh, if my parents don't approve of who I marry, then I can't marry them or I can't continue to go on and be happy with that person. I think that's a dumb idea. I think that in 2023, no one should be living like that. And I'm saying this as a father of two daughters. I have two beautiful little girls that I'm trying to raise the right way. And when I talk about this decision, as a father, it's not so much about approving who my daughters bring home to me and who they're going to spend the rest of their lives with. It's more about trusting the decisions that they're making, trusting the conclusion that they're coming to about the person, because they know the person much better than me. And what I want is for my daughters to be good judges of character. And if they feel this person is a person of good character, and I've taught them to not be gullible, to not be sold a bit of goods by anyone, I'm hoping and believing that I'll be able to roll with any choice of man that they bring home to be with for the rest of their life. And my greater point along that same line is that it doesn't really matter if I, as their fathers, approve who they choose to be with, because I got my wife and I'm happy about that. Now, I'm very glad with my decision, but they're gonna have to live with theirs. So the point in the movie in which, spoilers here, the couple separates for the sake of the families not getting along, I feel like that was just stupid. It was dumb. It was something that I wouldn't ever do. I would continue to be with the person I chose to be with. Like, hey, I'm not gonna be seeing y'all every morning when I wake up. I'm gonna be seeing her. I don't have to be on the best of terms with you because I'm being with her. And that's just how things are gonna break down. And that's the decision that I would come to placed in that same situation. Now, away from the fatherhood stuff and the raising your daughters, that side of the culture, the other cultural thing I want to talk about is the use or the talk about Black culture in this movie. I just feel like it's very, very uncomfortable for me. And the reason why I feel that it is uncomfortable is because when you talk about the culture, I'm doing the air quotes like the mom did in the movie, but when you talk about the culture as a thing, it's going to mean something different to every single person that's involved with it. And because that is the situation that exists, you can never label something, to me, or in my opinion, you can't label something as the culture, because my idea of Black culture is going to be different from another person's idea of Black culture. I also want to say that I'm very uncomfortable with and I extremely dislike the idea of someone being so in love with our culture and so appreciative of it and participating in it that we extend this invitation for them to be accepted as one of us. As like this idea of like, oh, so and so can come to the cookout. It's like, nah, let's not do that. Let's just say, good job. I'm glad that you like us and like the way we do things, and let's just keep it moving. I don't like that idea of we're going to accept this person into the fold, so to speak, because they are appreciative of our culture and the way that we do things. That has always felt very weird to me, and it does feel weird to me in different spots throughout this movie. Another thing that really kind of sets me off or aggravates me about for the culture type talk is the idea that there should be some level of uniformity within the culture. And I just personally don't really believe that. There are so many Black people that I know that disagree with the idea of group think, that we should all think the same, act the same, talk the same, appreciate the same things. There's things that are universal for us. This is true, but then at the same time, every experience inside of Blackness will be unique. And there's no level to Blackness, or because you're an anime person, you're not considered Black. I remember there were several different instances I can think of in real life where people's Blackness came into question because of how they talk, how they walk, how they dress, which is nonsense. It's nonsense. All that stuff aside, I've heard a lot of talk before watching the actual movie about Kenya Barris, the director. I saw that he snuck himself in this too. It was a pretty cool little cameo they made. But there was talk about him and his obsession apparently with interracial dating or interracial couples. It's something that is a theme in all his projects. And what's weird is that I know of all his projects that are done, like Blackish, Grownish, and other things. But at the same time, it's like I don't watch any of that, and I've never really seen any of his films or projects. So all that stuff is kind of falling on deaf ears for me. I watched the movie. I laughed at the movie. I enjoyed the little romance of the movie. There were some plots that were, some points that were cheesy, some parts that were cringy, some points that were just kind of fairy tale make believe stuff near the end. But the movie was good. I enjoyed my time with the movie. I think other people will. Let me know if you've seen it. What do you think about the movie? Because I thought the movie was pretty darn good to say it was a Netflix comedy, romantic comedy. I enjoyed it. So those are the thoughts. Let me know again what you think. Enjoy yourself, guard your heart, and go watch something good.